all players put on their face.
Yeah, the eye black.
Yeah.
I have ventured the suspicion, however vaguely or however casually. Well, not only the suspicion, but my wondering just how deep the food fraud went into higher levels of government. I have not said that I think anybody's, like, I don't think Walz is stuffing his own pockets with money.
Okay.
I've said that.
Yes.
But I've wondered, the frauds are so routine, so regular, so efficient in terms of them being fraudulent, that I wonder who knew and how up the ladder did people know?
And at what point?
Yeah, and there's more coming out of the trial that might help. An audio recording of Attorney General Keith Ellison was included on the exhibit list of Feeding Our Future's Aimee Bock trial in the recently concluded trial,
Okay.
Recording with Keith. It was not introduced during the 6-week trial that concluded last month. A trial that resulted in guilty verdicts. Do you see where these characters want to be declared innocent now? Yeah, good luck to you. A trial that resulted in guilty verdicts on all charges for Bock, founder and CEO of Feeding Our Future, and her co-defendant, Salim Said, co-owner of the Safari restaurant of South Minneapolis, and in Said's own words, if you want to be in politics in Minneapolis, you got to go through the Safari. During Bock's trial, it came out that the nonprofit executive had a habit of surreptitiously recording private conversations. Bock's exhibit list for the case includes more than 1,000 items, few of which were actually introduced at trial. 3 of them were described as recordings, including the one under Ellison's name. None of the recordings were introduced as evidence. The significance of the above is that all of the evidence produced in Bock's and a previous Feeding Our Future courtroom trial is available to the remaining defendants in the case for use in their defense. 3 of those defendants were in court this morning. When was this?
Wasn't it Friday?
Friday.
Yeah, April 3rd.
Those were defendants number 63, 64, and 65. The trio is part of a larger group of 7 defendants, 63 through 69, who were indicted in late January 2024. For manageability, the group of 7 has been split in 2. This group of 3 is looking at a trial date in the December-January timeframe. The lead defendant for this group is number 63, Ikram Mohammed, a former Feeding Our Future employee/consultant. She is paired with her brother Suleiman and her sister Aisha. They are number 64 and 65. In today's status conference, the big item of discussion was discovery. Prosecutors are finishing the process of transferring the evidence collected in the recent trial to this batch of defendants. And some of the evidence applies to the new defendants directly. What are we going to learn? Exactly, I skipped a page, but I have it right here. Ikram's name appears on the government's Bock trial exhibit on 5 occasions. She also appears in the prosecution's closing argument slide deck in 2 instances. During the trial itself, Suleiman's company, Star Distribution, was mentioned on several occasions in open court. Bock's exhibit list does not mention Ikram or Star Distribution, but it does mention Keith Ellison. The apparent date of the recording, December 11th, 2021, has significance for several reasons. 9 days later, on December 20, Ellison reported receiving a maximum $2,500 campaign contribution from Feeding Our Future defendant number 69, Gandhi Mohammed, n.k.a. Gandhi Kediye. Gandhi is another brother of Ikram. The same day, Ellison accepted a $2,500 donation from Jamal Hashi, another individual connected to the case who has not been charged. Ellison accepted a third donation that day from another figure whose name came up in the first feeding trial, but who also has not been charged in the case.
Coincidental, I'm sure.
Well, he's reporting it.
Yeah.
Ellison's December 2021 fundraiser appears to have been conducted jointly with his son Jeremiah, a Minneapolis City Council member. Well, just stay here, folks. The old mayor
going.
might have been on the right track.
Keep going.
The younger Ellison also collected checks from
Honest to God.
defendant numbers 63, 67, and 69 at the same event. In addition to those three, Jeremiah also collected checks from 5 other individuals later indicted in the case and 4 other figures linked to Feeding Our Future but never charged. Among Jeremiah's donors back in 2021 was Salim Said, Bock's right-hand man. Exactly 1 month later, January 20, 2022, the FBI conducted its famous raid, shutting down the Feeding Our Future operation. Shortly after the first batch of indictments were handed down in the case in late September of 2022, Keith Ellison sent out a press release touting his involvement in cracking the case.
Dun, dun,
The
dun.
press release began, Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison and his office have been deeply involved for 2 years in holding Feeding Our Future accountable. I don't think that's truthful. Deeply involved. 2 years before September 2022 places us in September of 2020. Yet in December of 2021, Ellison appears to have taken a private meeting with one or more Feeding Our Future employees, and afterwards he took campaign donations from individuals linked to the case. If the elder Ellison, Keith, was deeply involved, then why did he take a maximum $2,500 donation in May of 2022 from another soon-to-be indicted figure in the case? In September of 2022, defendant number 36 in the case and later guilty plea number 6, the indictment against Alshire frequently mentions the role of his Hutto properties. But we are left with many unanswered questions, Alpha News is. What's on that Ellison recording? Who's on the recording? Where was the recording made and by whom? What is the link to Aimee Bock, and why did she believe that the recording was exonerating for her? If she thought the recording was exonerating for her, I'll ask another question. Why didn't she demand that it be presented as evidence in her trial?
True.
Maybe
You think she was told?
I
maybe-
was just going to say, maybe she was told not to.
You think maybe there's some... Okay. I'm beginning to feel vindicated for my suspicions. My suspicions are that this much fraud and this much money would have been known to some of our elected officials. Not saying anything. I'm just saying.
What would be their reason then?
But
for
how can
sitting there?
Ellison get away with saying, boy, I'm a crackerjack state attorney. I'm deeply involved in this. Why was he then accepting money from them?
Well, this is all just a case of everyone's trying to cover their own rear end. That's why he was saying that.
And if Aimee Bock thought the phone call recorded with Ellison, we don't know who it was between, could have vindicated her, why in the hell didn't she have her lawyer use it? And what will be found out when the new defendants, who go by numbers, what will be found out when the guys in their 60s, 63, 64, 68, and 69 get in there and say, we want to hear this recording?
Do you want wild speculation?
Why
Sure.
not?
Because that's all I can give you. Is she's taken a hit?
Sure sounds like it, doesn't it?
She's being a good soldier, and she's taken a hit. That's
She's the
my
fall
wild-
guy.
That's my wild speculation.
Okay, that's wild speculation. I'm not going to use the word speculation. Mine is suspicion. Suspicion all along that something this massive had to go deeper than a bunch of clowns waiting tables at the Safari Club or whatever the hell that restaurant's
You
called.
got to go through. You want to be rich, you got to go through it.
Yeah. God, I wish this would blow the lid off all these frauds in the state capitol and get rid of them.
It's taking too long.
It really is.
Come on, let's go here, man.
Come on, man.
We just want some kind of victory.
Oh, man.
Any